Vampires? Y'all want to talk about vampires? Okay. So I don't normally do talking videos because number one, I think I'm annoying, and number two, I am a real life yapper. So if I start, who knows where this is gonna go. But I've been seeing everybody getting on here and talking about their real life vampire stories, and so I wanted to share mine. So I am in a PhD program, but in order to be able to like afford life, I bartend. And I bartend in rural West Georgia, to set the scene, like 45 minutes from Alabama. Rural. And I work at this small bar. I like to say it's like a step above a dive bar. It's not a dive, but it's not like a chain. It's not fancy. So I like to say it's a step above a dive bar. And most of my guests are regulars. So I have regulars that come into the bar every single day. I know they're going to be there. I know what time they're going to be there. I know what they're going to drink. And maybe there's like 3 or 4 new people on the bar side. The restaurant side is different, but on the bar side, like maybe like 3 new people a day, if that. Okay, so this is the middle of the week, maybe 3 or 4 p.m. It's dead. I mean, I think I have like 3 other people sitting at the bar. And this person walks in and they sit down at the bar. Okay. So I'll describe the person and I'll describe their demeanor as well. And then like, I'll give some details to what sort of made me believe that this person is a vampire. So first of all, you know the trope of like vampires have really pale skin? Opposite of that. Okay. Complete opposite of that. This person had like beautiful dark skin, like probably the darkest skin I've ever seen in person, darkest skin I've ever seen outside of like editorial fashion magazines, you know. So really dark, beautiful skin. It just looked smooth, like there were no pores on this person. I'm saying this person because to me they were male presenting. I don't know. But so he had blue eyes, like neon blue almost. So I saw this person and I was like, these are either contacts or you're a vampire. I mean, this was an unnatural color for somebody to have for their eyes. They were also wearing, I want to call it a frock. I mean, it was like a high-necked black shirt with long sleeves. And this is like middle of the summer, so people don't wear that in Georgia. So it was very strange gear that they were wearing. And then it was the demeanor. So the demeanor was like, okay, like looking around like, what is this place? Like they were trying to understand the culture that was going on. And so you might be asking yourself, like, Jess, could this person have been a thespian? Was he a man of the theater? Possibly. But again, we are in West Georgia. So, I mean, like, local community theater at best. And that's no shade to community theater. But this man was, like, if this person were an actor, they are method. Like, he did not break. His characteristics were very specific. Okay, so he spoke very little. And then we only have 8. Sorry, I'm gonna pause. Okay, I'm not used to like holding and recording this because I never do this. But we only have about 8 beers on tap, okay? And one of them is a Yingling. So he ordered a Yingling. And I'm already thinking like, this could be a vampire. And what's interesting about Yinglings, I drink Yingling, I drink ambers and red ales. I like beers that are that color, that coppery color, and they have that coppery taste. And I like to tell people, I like beers that taste like a penny. What's interesting is, you know, if you've ever tasted blood before, if you've had like a cut or something, okay, blood tastes like a penny. Blood tastes coppery. There's a coppery taste to blood. So I was automatically like, okay, evidence, you're a vampire. So, he ordered a Yingling. He sipped it, and then he acted like it was palatable. Not that he was like enjoying it, but that like it will do. He did not want a food menu. And then let's see. Okay, this is where it got weird was I'm already in my head. Like, first of all, okay, let me pause. Something about me, I am a skeptic who wants to believe. So I'm open to your conspiracy theories. I'm open, like I'm the mythical creatures. Sure, yeah, they're out there, but I need proof. I need evidence. So I'm willing to go on this ride with you, but you're gonna have to give me something. So I'm already like looking for evidence to prove to myself, okay, this is a vampire. And I have really bad hand eczema. So like, I don't know, can't really see right now, but like I get like open cuts. Sometimes they bleed. So on his second Yingling, I noticed like I'm bleeding, and I have his little pint glass in my hand, and I hand it to him, and I hesitate, like, I don't want to like trigger you. If you're a natural born hunter, you're a predator, you're gonna lunge at me right now. No. So I like hesitated and then gave him the beer. So he laughed, but not with his mouth. Like I heard it in my brain, like a thought. Like I heard him laughing in my head, like I was recalling a memory of someone laughing. I didn't hear it like an auditory response to something. Okay? And then, I mean, that was pretty much my only bit of evidence that I had, but yeah, he just seemed like he had great disdain for everyone around him. Which, you know, it's rural West Georgia. If those ain't your people, them not your people. But he just seemed like he was either a vampire or he was like from London, you know? Like, I'm just better than you, was the vibe. He only had the 2 beers. He didn't eat anything. And so the total was probably like $9 something. And then I think he left 40. So really good tip. Never saw him again. Haven't seen him since. I don't even know if anybody would remember him if I brought him up. But that's my vampire story.
Now, you may not believe it, but the myth of vampires in New Orleans is deeply rooted in its history and cultural lore. One of the most famous figures in New Orleans vampire lore is the Count Saint Germain, the infamous Count Saint Germain. Now, why do I say that? He's known as the man who does not die and who knows everything. People have been seeing this man roaming the French Quarter since the 18th century. New Orleans has long been associated with tales of the undead, and the myth of vampires continues to captivate locals and visitors alike. Now, this could be just adding to the aura and mystery of intrigue around New Orleans, but me personally, I choose to believe it. If you have a story or a vampire sighting in New Orleans, stitch this and let us know, because surprisingly, I don't have any vampire stories. I do have these on the long form content place if you would like to support. Thank you.
All right, you guys, this is my New Orleans story time. So I went to New Orleans for my birthday a few years ago. My friends were supposed to fly in that day, but they ended up missing their flight. So I had a whole day to really just explore by myself. So I decided to do a few tours, and I ended up meeting a great group of people, but we ended up doing the one of the graveyard tours. And of course, on this tour, they talk a lot about Marie Laveau. So if you don't know who Marie Laveau is, she was a voodoo practitioner, she was an herbalist, okay, she was big witch, okay? They actually did a season of American Horror Stories that was talking about Marie Laveau. So while we were on this tour, they were talking about how a lot of people like to leave her offerings, like bobby pins, because she was a hairdresser and things like that. And I was like, oh, I don't have a bobby pin. But then I'm like, anyone that is crossed over, you can communicate with telepathically. So in my head, I'm just talking to Marie Laveau the whole time that we're on this tour and just kind of like showing gratitude to her, you know? And I kid you not, this was my first supernatural experience in New Orleans. Okay, so after that tour, I go back to my hotel room and I open my suitcase because I wanted to change my clothes. It was starting to get a little colder. I open my suitcase and there is a bobby pin sitting on top of all of my clothes. Obviously, I don't wear bobby pins. Okay, I have no use for them whatsoever, but it was sitting so perfectly on top of all of my stuff in my suitcase. And so I definitely took that as a sign like, oh my gosh, she heard me, you know? And she's like, hey, I'm recognizing you. I heard you. Here's the proof to let you know that I heard you, girl. Okay? And that's just one story. So stay tuned for part 2 when I tell you guys about the vampires that were in New Orleans. Okay? Because, yeah, I got a story.